Getting thirsty? Here in the back room at the Indy International, you'll find rows and rows of wine from around the world, from sparkling to dessert, dry to sweet, Bordeaux classifications to basic fruit wines. Over 2,700 entries from 17 countries. Each wine sent with hopes of garnering gold medals or medals of some sort.
This year the international entries are way up, and that's especially pleasing. One of them actually just arrived this afternoon that's been fighting its way through customs for 3 days.
These wines will be judged by 50 wine experts from around the world, each sniffing, swirling, and spitting their way through 150 wines a day. So how does wine get from bottle to glass to a wine judge's nose? Very carefully, and with plenty of help from the pit crew, 50 wine lovers who volunteer their time to make the competition go down as effortlessly as a glass of Grand Cru Burgundy.
We open up the bottles, we get all the glasses lined up. Each one of the bottles is numbered so that they can keep track of them when they do the tastings. And then we put them on a tray, fill them up, put them on a tray, and wheel them out to the judges, come back, and then do the whole thing all over again. And we do that for about 8 hours straight.
It's time for the Indy Math Quiz. 8 hours of pouring 10 rounds or flights of wine. Each flight contains at least 10 wines for 50 judges. Well, you do the math, and be glad you don't have to wash those glasses. Some 10,000 glasses get washed each day. Holy dishpan hands! Keith Gully doesn't do dishes at home, but he and wife Mary Ann love working at Indy.
They furnish us a place to stay and furnish all of our meals, and we get some wine and taste them and meet all the people and work with them from Purdue.
There's no shortage of wine experts wanting to be judges either, but Harkness handpicks the 50 wine writers, winemakers, and wine industry folks from around the world.
We have given golds to Vidals and Vignoles and some French hybrids, and they've just been some really wonderful wines.
For someone in the acting field, they get an Oscar, but for someone in the wine world, they get the Big Bird Award from American Airlines. These are made by the same people that make the Oscar Award.
Exactly right. Yeah, this is made by the R.S. Owens Company in Chicago, very same company that makes the fabled Oscar for the Academy Awards. They're designed and cast by that company. We're very proud of that.
That's Purdue enologist Dr. Richard Vine, and yes, that's his real name. Anyone involved in Indy will tell you he is the reason that entries have jumped from 400 in 1992 to over 2,700 in 2001.
Tasting wine and judging wine are actually two very different things. When you taste a wine, the only question you have to answer is, do I like the wine? If you do, then drink, and if you don't, try something else. But when you're judging wine, you have to try to put those personal preferences in the back seat. Instead, you have to look at some other factors. First of all, you want to look at the color of the wine and the clarity. If it's a red wine, does it look like a red wine? Is it clear, or is it kind of cloudy? Then you want to give it a swirl and give it a sniff. Check the aromas. Does it smell good, or is it kind of offensive? Then, of course, you get to give it a taste. But the big difference between wine tasting and wine judging, when you taste wine, you can swallow, but when you judge wine, you have to spit.
We spit a lot. Medals are earned and much is learned during the Indy International.
I think sometimes in the United States we tend to get a little bit scared about wine. A lot of people do. Where other places they just enjoy it. When people used to ask me about comparing American drinkers to Australian drinkers, and we would often say in Australia, by the time they've described the wine, meaning the Americans, we finished the bottle.
I'll drink to that, and you can too. But drink a wine you like. For a true award-winning wine is one you find enjoyable.